The book of Isaiah, chapters 35 and 36. The wilderness and the dry land will be glad. The desert will rejoice and blossom. Like a wildflower, it will blossom abundantly, and will also rejoice with the joy of singing. The glory of Lebanon will be given to it, the splendor of Carmel and Sharon. They will see the glory of the Lord, the splendor of our God. Strengthen the weak hands, steady the shaking knees. Say to the cowardly, be strong, do not fear. Here is your God. Vengeance is coming. God's retribution is coming. He will save you. Then the eyes of the blind will be open, and the ears of the deaf will be unstopped. Then the lame will leap like a deer, and the tongue of the mute will sing for joy. For water will gush in the wilderness, and the streams in the desert. The parched ground will become like a pool, and the thirsty land springs. In the haunt of jackals, in their lairs, there will be grass, reeds, and papyrus. A road will be there, and a way. It will be called the Holy Way. The unclean will not travel on it, but it will be on the one for those who walk the path. Fools will not wander on it. There will be no lion there. No vicious beast will go up on it. There will be not found there, but the redeemed will walk on it, and the ransom of the Lord will return and come to Zion with singing, crowned with unheeding joy. Joy and gladness will overtake them, and sorrow and sighing will flee. In the 14th year of King Hezekiah, King Sennacherib of Assyria attacked all the fortified cities of Judah and captured them. Then the king of Assyria sent his royal spokesman along with a massive army from Lachish to King Hezekiah at Jerusalem. The Assyrians stood near the conduit of the upper pool by the road of the launderer's field. Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, who was in charge of the palace, Shebna, the court secretary, and Joash, son of Asaph, the court historian, came out to him. The royal spokesman said to them, tell Hezekiah, the great king, the king of Assyria says, what are you relying on? You think mere words are strategy and strengthened for war? Who are you now relying on that you have rebelled against me? Look, you are relying on Egypt, the splintered reed of a staff that will pierce the hand of anyone who grabs it and leans on it. This is how Pharaoh, king of Egypt, is to allow all who rely on him. Suppose you say to me, we rely on the Lord our God. Isn't he the one whose high places and altars Hezekiah has removed, saying to Judah and Jerusalem, you are to worship at this altar? Now make a deal with my master, the king of Assyria. I'll give you 2,000 horses if you're able to supply riders for them. How then can you drive back a single officer among the least of my master's servants? How can you rely on Egypt for chariots and horsemen? Have I attacked this land to destroy it without the Lord's approval? The Lord said to me, attack this land and destroy it. Then Elkiam, Shebna, and Joash said to the royal spokesman, please speak to your servants in Aramaic, since we understand it. Don't speak to us in Hebrew within earshot of the people who are on the wall. But the royal spokesman replied, has my master sent me to speak these words to your master and to you, and not to the men who are sitting on the wall, who are destined with you to eat their own excrement and drink their own urine? Then the royal spokesman stood and called out loudly in Hebrew, listen to the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. This is what the king says, don't let Hezekiah deceive you, for he cannot rescue you. Don't let Hezekiah persuade you to rely on the Lord, saying the Lord will certainly rescue us. This city will not be handed over to the king of Assyria. Don't listen to Hezekiah, for this is what the king of Assyria says. Make peace with me and surrender to me, that every one of you may eat from his own vine and his own fig tree and drink water from his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of grain and new wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Beware that Hezekiah does not mislead you by saying, the Lord will rescue us. Has any of one of the gods of the nations rescued his land from the power of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Arpad? What are the gods of Sepharvaim? Have they rescued Samaria from my power? Who among all the gods of these lands will rescue his land from my power? So will the Lord rescue Jerusalem from my power? But they kept silent. They didn't say anything, for the king's command was don't answer him. Then Eliakim, son of Hilkiah, who was in charge of the palace, Shebna, the court secretary, Joaz, son of Asaph, the court historian, came to Hezekiah with their clothes torn and reported to him the words of the royal spokesman.